Almost 16,000 troops were recruited from the Caribbean to fight in the First World War. This is their journey. By the outbreak of the First World War, the West Indies had been under British rule for nearly 300 years. British institutions and legal practices governed their islands. When fighting broke out in 1914, the war was greeted with patriotic fervour in the Caribbean.
From islands big and islands small, as children of the Empire, we answered the call. When the trumpet sounded loud, to fight shoulder to shoulder, we all stood proud. But if I knew then what I know now, would I have left the field and plough?
Almost 16,000 troops were recruited from the Caribbean to support the war effort. All came ready to fight alongside their white counterparts on the front line. For the black populations of the West Indies, World War I was seen as the first real opportunity since slavery to further their quest for equality.
In the field of Flanders, a living hell, digging trenches, moving shells, gathering up the dead. We not forget that smell. But even though we were trained for war, they not let us fight, because we were black and the enemy was white. But if I knew then what I know now, would I have left the field unplowed?
Along with other demobilized troops, Caribbean soldiers passed through Taranto in Italy as they left the front line. Here, trouble flared as officers forced black soldiers to clean the laundry and toilet facilities of their white counterparts.
As the war ended, what did we see? Others returning to their homes and family, but we still had to fetch and carry, ordered to do the white man's dirty laundry. Still giving our loyalty, still giving our time, but a line was crossed. When you call us niggers, better fed and treated than any nigger had a right to expect. No, sir, I object. We made a stand for your king and country, but when we stood for our own rights, you call it mutiny. If I knew then what I know now, would I have left the field and plough?
Eventually, many made it back to England. But despite having transported men over to fight, the government was unwilling to help soldiers return to their homes in the Caribbean. As tension peaked, 1919 saw race riots across Britain, with major seaports most affected.
Back in England, but still at war, like a gathering storm, angry voices swell to a roar. Kill all the niggers and their nigger-loving whores. But wait, a hand reaches out and touches me, and my love's calm voice says, darling, You must flee, but if you don't, you'll surely die. Away, my love, away and hide. I came to help. Is this how it will end? Chased by the ones I thought would be friend. The same man I stood with, together we would fight. Now wanting my blood, cause my skin is not white. If I knew then what I know now, would I have left the field and plow? Then came the post-war years. Graffiti upon the wall, keep Britain white. Rivers of blood, 3 words to incite. Divisions that persisted still. In Chapel Town, Moss Side, Notting Hill. Kelso Cochrane, Stephen Lawrence, these names you hear. So many of us suffered throughout the years. Racism was just part of every day. Taunted and abused, kept in our place, told every day you're an inferior race. The scars grew deeper. We fought in the streets, black man prosecuted, but never the police. The letter of the law means we have equal rights, but the numbers tell a different story of black versus white. Jobs, health, wealth, and education. Britain was still a divided nation. But all these memories, not so far in the past, still waiting for the days we'll be free at last, from the shadows of slavery, free at last.
The Great War of 1914 to 1918 claimed more than 18 million lives. They say history is written by the winners. But in the case of World War I, many of those who fought and died for king and country were still forgotten by the history books. 100 years on in the UK, black Caribbeans are still 3 times more likely to be living in poverty than white people, 7 times more likely to be stopped and searched, 4 times more likely to be excluded from school, 5 times more likely to be in prison, and infinitely less likely to be in top jobs, schools, universities, housing, or even in the best health.
This is a time we need to step back, because the biggest problem is a total lack of willingness to see that this all still takes place, still disadvantaged because of the color of my face. We forever hear about how far we've come, but don't let them fool you into thinking that the job has been done. When everyone has finished patting themselves on the back, understand still what we endure because we are black. 100 years have passed since the Great War brought us together. In 100 years' time, I want to tell you that everything is better. But if you want to know the truth, today, you should read this letter.
I write to you from the front line.
I write so that you might know
us.
I do not ask that you feel sorry for me, only that you know how I live, so that when others ask what it is like for us here,
you can tell them with knowledge and honesty. From the beginning of our journey, we are motivated by promises of equality and unity.
Sadly, these things do not exist here.
There are some that we call friends.
There are those that do not see my colour before.
There are also those who respect the way we conduct ourselves in this battle. But often those same people are reluctant to speak on our behalf when forced to take sides.
Often it is those that have the power to make a difference who are most keen to keep things the same, despite best efforts to better ourselves.
The laws that have been passed mean we are entitled to the same treatment, the same opportunity, and the same pay as those around us.
And yet the conditions we live in, man for man, are not the same as white people who are similarly qualified.
In the higher ranks, our faces become increasingly scarce, and we can be easily forgotten, even by those with whom we once stood shoulder to shoulder.
In those places, we no
places,
longer have a voice of our own, but simply wait for others to speak on our behalf.
Although we still hope, silence is often all we hear. Some have tried to bring these matters to the attention of the authorities, but we are accused of
causing trouble. Our reputation is for violence and confrontation, and yet it is usually one of our own that is left injured and without help.
People simply pass by, too scared to become involved. Perhaps they believe...
Perhaps they do not understand that a black victim hurts just the same as a white victim.
Perhaps they do not want to know for fear that once we are seen as human beings, the privilege they enjoy will disappear with their prejudice.
Please know that this letter is not written to inflame. It is not written to talk of hatred.
This letter is written to contemplate what it might be like to not have to talk about these problems at all.
I dream of a time, perhaps 100 years from now, when all of our hopes have become reality.
Until then, know this. The fight is longer and harder than you imagine it to
The
be.
progress we have made is not the same as you believe it to be.
The spirit of the empire remains, and it leaves no place at the table for me. Was it foolish to think
that in this short time we could shed the shackles of slavery and become equals?
Or are we right, still, to live in hope that we are part of realizing the change we long to see?
From my life on the front line, I wish only for peace. After all, is that
why 100 years ago we left the field and plow to fight for king and country?